Welcome, this is your life now, a wasteland where we all take a bow.
Hi, my name is Mallory, and I've had multiple sclerosis for 19 years, and I've utilized a power wheelchair for 13. I share what my family's experience is like navigating a chronic illness, and today I have my husband with me, Brad.
Hi there.
So we're going to change things up quite a bit, maybe a little, not quite, I don't know. Anyways, which there's no video today, which I am looking super fly, dirty hair with a hat on top, but anyways, I digress. But after my message and then the episode, we talked about how I prepared that, delivered that, worked through the fatigue and brain fog. I really got to thinking about the podcast as well, and every layer and everything I was attempting to create and what I had in my mind that I wanted to deliver. Really where I found myself was in a place where I felt like I could be more productive if we maybe took the video layer away and really got a little more conversational, because in the end I wanted this podcast to be real, raw, and a communication between my family, my friends, whoever wants to join me. But the thing about it is I want it to be genuine. And so it's hard to do that when you're on camera. So we'll revisit that at some point, but that's just where I found myself. So here we are. But today I wanted to talk about weather, simply because we here in Texas have finally arrived at spring, not the false springs where we get like this glimpse of 80-degree weather and sun, but I mean, like, it's here to stay. Like, we're not going back to any colder days. But so it's a very hopeful season to me. I feel very energetic and excited to get days started, just because I know the sun's shining, the birds are chirping. But additionally, I feel so much better. The winter is one of the hardest absolute seasons for me. But I also, while I deal with cold intolerance, I also deal with heat intolerance. And I don't even know what you call, like, rain, barometric pressure change intolerance. I don't know. That's what we'll say.
Right. Yeah. No, for you, it definitely is.
We'll just make up a fancy word that involves rain. But so really, I mean, it's kind of hit and miss right now, because it is April showers, spring May flowers. We're working through that right now, and there's pop-up showers in the evening and things like that I don't necessarily always see on the radar and things like that, but I do definitely feel it. There have been nights where I've woken up and, like, surprised at, like, my body's behavior through the night, and I'm like, oh, that cloud explains that. Like, so anyways, when it rains, it is, it's not as fatiguing as the cold. We'll get into that, but the rain for me tightens all of my muscles. I find it very hard to relax my muscles, and like,
I think the biggest problem is at night. I think it affects the whole family at night, or specifically me at night, and Mallory as well. But like, so Mallory is a stomach sleeper, and when the weather is coming and the barometric pressure is changing, her body tightens up, specifically her legs. So we'll be in bed 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and one of her legs will bend straight up in the air. And it steals the covers. It steals my covers, I guess. And then she ends up being cold because it pulls the sheets up or what have you. And it's a nightmare. So, I mean, I'm always using one leg to push her leg down, and then they get tangled, and then it's just a mess. And then you got to go back to sleep to wake up another hour to do it all again.
The same thing with the different leg.
With the other leg, yeah.
Well, the thing about it is I'm like so exhausted because with MS, like you're fatigued all the time. All your body needs is rest. But as soon as you like hit the pillow and try to get rest, like your body goes crazy, or
you can't relax
your brain. And so that is a challenge in itself. I'm sure we'll do an episode about managing that. But in the end, I mean, I sleep through all of that. Like in most cases, like it's more of a like restless sleep where I toss and turn. But my legs also, like they'll get stuck in the air because I don't have a lot of sensation from the waist down. And so my knee will bend because of the spasm. It gets stuck there, and I'll wake up with the like joint pain in my knees, or my heel resting on my butt will wake me up.
Well, you'll get the joint pain because your knee's been bent all night.
Yeah. So, but with the cold weather too, like I deal a lot with the muscle pain and the muscle tightness, where it's challenging to get them to relax. And I know, like, you might be thinking, well, just massage it. Go get a massage or go to the gym and work it out. No. It doesn't work that way. Like, it's there to stay. Like, you work it out. You do those things. You take a hot bath. You do whatever. It just, you return to that state within moments. So, like, and I don't know. Like, I have muscle relaxers and sleep medications are there and available to me. I just try my hardest to only use them when I am like absolutely miserable. I don't like to find myself groggy because I've depended on any certain medication for an extended period, meaning a couple of days. And so it just, I don't know. At this point, I choose to work through it and take medications as needed. But anyways, I think that's the biggest thing with rain for me.
With the rain, yeah. Well, and going to the bathroom, getting in and out of bed, transferring in and out of bed into from chair to toilet and stuff like that is definitely difficult. I think more or less the pivoting portion of it to make your leg.
It's the transfer, the standing, the pivoting. That's phenomenal because those muscles are tight and working and responding to that motion. But it's when I want to release to sit that I get stuck.
You have to bend that knee or both knees to be able to sit down on whether it be bed or toilet, and they won't bend. So
yeah,
I have to pull her legs out from underneath her, which sounds really rude.
You were trying to convince me. You were trying to convince me last night to hand you a grabber.
Well, I wasn't close.
You weren't close to me, and I was kind of in a hole, and I was trying to do it by myself, and you're like,
give me the grabber tool, and I can just reach out and pull your legs out from underneath you, and hopefully you'll fall in the right spot.
Yeah, I rejected that because
too many bad things could happen.
Just be another tally of hazards. So anyways, but that's what occurs. Like, I just feel very like muscly pain, like flu-like and so forth in the rainy months. So I deal with that. But then additionally, I just talked about spring being so hopeful. And that's because the winter is so hard on me. Like, I despise it. I wish I could skip over that. And I'm like any other fall girl that likes my pumpkin spice and everything. But as soon as that season starts to approach, I start getting very, I don't know, just burdened with the feeling of what's to come, because I know it's challenging. In Texas, we don't, we get wonderful fall, and I do pretty well up through December. It's when we get into our January and it starts getting and dipping closer to a freezing temperature. I'd say honestly, probably anything below like 55, 60.
That's what I was gonna say. 60.
Yeah, as I'm pretty uncomfortable with those months. And the reason for the uncomfortableness during that time frame is it's not just muscle pain, it's nerve pain that I feel. It is joint pain that I feel. And then on top of those things, like the nerve signal as described to me in my last doctor's appointment, the nerve signal additionally slows down in colder months. And so I find myself like not being able to work through the brain fog as easy or function as easy. Like I have to think harder on how to do certain tasks. Whereas, sometimes, and the gym is a good example, like I have to ask sometimes, like, well, what muscle would do that? Like, tell me so I can work through it and think through it with my brain on, okay, I figured out how to activate that or flex that muscle. Okay. But you have to think about that in the winter is I have to do that with just common tasks like grip harder with one hand.
Don't drop this coffee cup.
Yeah. And so it's like a constant like work through those things in my head because my signals are slower. I'm really uncomfortable in the winter for those reasons because I don't trust myself. Sharp objects or glass or breakables even driving, like I get really discouraged. I try not to go far. Like I just don't trust myself. But like even you have to, like when your nerve signals slow down too, like you're then starting to get into things such as your bodily functions, your internal functions, meaning like digestion. So I struggle too with eating, like an appetite in general. Like it fatigues me to chew. Like it's that bad in the winter. And so I didn't keep track of how much weight I lost this winter.
Say 4 or 5 pounds.
Yeah, and it was just because I
because-
didn't want to eat. But I remember there were certain foods like these bars I like. I would avoid bars that had coconut in them because the coconut, you have to chew coconut a lot more than you have to chew just a chocolate chip in a bar. And so I would avoid buying those because I found that they were super fatiguing to be able to, or to have to eat and chew. And I don't know. I mean, there's many occasions where I'm just like, I'm going to skip this meal. I don't have the energy. I don't have the want. And I spent lots of evenings melting in my recliner, as I like to call it. Just simply because I didn't have any go-go. There was no juice, through the winter. So it's really discouraging. Winter's really hard and discouraging, which is why spring is such a hopeful time for me because I don't know. I can get discouraged because I feel like I'm progressing and I can't do things and I'm getting worse. But then all of a sudden the weather changes and I'm like, wait, what? Who is this girl? Like she's got things that she could do. But I also I was thinking about this, like with functions that we had to start doing in the winter. Brad has to help me a lot more, but like functions that he had to start helping me with. Now I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, I got to start like reworking with my brain to remember how to do those things. Cause I don't want to be I don't want to lack the independence and transferring and things like that. So it's a whole rework every season, I think. But I mean, anything to add on winter?
No, I think I got a good transition from winter to summer.
Yeah.
So the way the normal human body works, like sweating, if Mallory doesn't sweat, right? So in the winter time, your blood veins near your skin move further away from your skin to help hold heat. And the opposite in summertime. Your blood veins move closer to the skin to help release the heat and help keep you cool. But Mallory's body doesn't necessarily do that. So she doesn't sweat, and it doesn't regulate temperature. Like, I mean, especially her lower extremities, they stay very cold.
Oh, yeah.
Would venture to guess that those blood vessels are always close to the skin, releasing too much heat. Like I said, I think that's a good transition to our summer. Season of summer.
So, so season of summer, like, and I don't know, I enjoy the sun, bask in the sun, which I got a sunburn yesterday. I'm not sure how. I don't feel like I was like in the sun that long, but in the end, like, I don't know. I just don't feel temperature the same as others. So, it's hard to tell when I'm getting overheated or I'm almost there.
Right. So example, we went on a cruise. What was it? Last year? The year before? Can't remember. Anyway, we were in a foreign country, and we went to a bar, hung out at the bar, had a drink. We were in the shade. It was probably 90, 95 degrees. And we were there enjoying ourselves. And all of a sudden, Mallory got super tired, super weak, almost lethargic. And basically, I mean, the waiter had to bring her napkins, wet napkins, bottle of water. We poured water over her head just to cool her off. But anyway, we got her back to the ship, and I got her laid down in bed, and I mean, just for that, I mean, I would say we were outside 30 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe. But that was that ended her for today. I mean, for that day. I mean, she was. Yeah, you were done for.
Well, I remember, like, we stripped me down and just like laid me on the bed, like
turn the fan
with
on,
with cold towels and the fan on high. And I mean, I recovered, but you recover feeling as though like you just ran a marathon. And so you're so fatigued following, like you've lost your day from it.
Right.
Which when I got a little sunburnt yesterday, I think I almost.
You got nervous.
I remember saying, like, I'm gonna go in the house, like I think I'm like overheating, like it's coming, oh my gosh, and like I caught it. I honestly haven't ever been really good at it.
It's only taken you how long to learn this?
Well, here's the thing too, is I'm like in like that scenario, like we were on a vacation, and so every part of me wants to keep going and push myself harder, and like yesterday we were doing yard work and enjoying the outdoors and the season, and it was I just felt more comfortable stepping away from that because I wasn't putting anybody out, and I also knew that I could return. Like, I don't know. That's what makes it so challenging, is you want to participate in these things, but your body just doesn't allow you, or you've got these limitations. Which, I mean, I went to the zoo a couple weeks ago, and because it was very shady, I did fine in that scenario. It was a spring day, like stayed below 80, and I was comfortable, but I don't know. There's never a right or wrong. I'm never going to get it right. And I really have to be careful and listen to my body and every signal that's happening. But I know, like, in the heat, everything goes numb. Like, it's numb, it's jello, and there is no fixing it. It's just lay down, like the coolest place possible, to just to let your body work through it. But additionally, like I'd be willing to bet though, like in an overheated scenario, my feet would still be ice cold.
Oh, they are. They are. Which is, I don't understand how that works, but
like, so last night it was hot, right? And so I had you bundle my feet up in like my winter blanket just from like the shin down. And then I had a summer blanket just on the upper half to, you know,
help regulate temperature.
So it's so strange, the heat, cold, rain intolerance that this lovely body of mine likes to.
What about snow? Is snow kind of in the winter months, or is?
Yeah, I would umbrella that as too cold for my interest. I know, and like meanwhile, like I want to travel to like northern states, and I want to see snowy mountains and things like that. I just
one of your bucket lists is the Northern Lights.
Yeah, and that I don't know how I can achieve it. I'm sure there's I say that. I was about to say I'm sure there's a way, but you can't just like when it's hot, when it's cold, when it's raining, I can't just go to a different location. So the thing with weather too is it's not like I can just go indoors if it's too hot. It's not like I can just get under a heating blanket if it's too cold, or just use an umbrella, you'll feel better. It doesn't work that way. I still feel like every bit of a 3-digit summer day. Like my body still feels the aches and uncomfortable, like sluggish feeling.
That's why I feel like it's the barometric pressure. It's something in the atmosphere that's changing, with whether it be a rain that's coming, or a warm front, or a cold front, or just whatever's happening in the atmosphere. I guess the only thing I can relate it to is the barometric pressure. That would be changing, that your body is not a fan of or can't adjust to. So,
but I mean, I additionally find myself planning around a weather app. Like plan it, like I know when I'm not gonna feel good, and I know based on like weather, sometimes Texas can throw us a lot of surprises. I typically know I have friends in my group that is like, is rain coming, Mallory? Because I will know, like my body tells me. And so I'm like, I can typically pick up on it. I mean, I've had some surprises this spring where like an overnight shower happened and my legs were like chaos and out of control, and I was wondering why. And I'm not, I'm going through all the things. I'm not dehydrated. I'm eating. Like, I don't know what would be prompting this. And then it's like an impromptu storm comes, or that wasn't on the forecast. But my point is like I do plan events around the weather. I plan my activities around the weather, because I know how I'm going to feel. Additionally, like I know my energy levels are different given each season, so I plan seasons too sometimes, when I can travel, where I can travel, or how much effort I can put into some things, summer, spring versus winter, fall. So anyways, it makes those things rather challenging. And I mean, in the end, I subtly touch base on the mental aspect of it, but I don't know. Winter and whenever it rains can be really a real lag mentally, just because you see how just this subtle change can like pull the rug out from under you, and your body just says, no, not gonna do that. And It's very strange and surprising sometimes that you can feel one way when you go to sleep and wake up completely different the next day. But I see it a lot, like in the gym. Like I will go to the gym one day and be like garbage, and then the next it's like, look what the sun did. Like it came out and made my body happy. So anyways, the weather brings its challenges with MS, and I'm sure with many other chronic illnesses. But that's what we've encountered.
Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the content we're creating, please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and find us wherever you can get your podcasts.